we're all getting to the end of the business and markets week. It's also the final business and markets day in the month of August. Welcome everyone. I am Bosun Nomofai. This is your Frontier opening bell. Let's take it from here to the weekend. The Nigerian market begins to adjust to the end of the month. 21 basis points on Thursday. Banks, non-banking names such as NASCON and a few others, and Wendo as well. As Eternal Oil lifted the Nigerian stock market. On the fixed income side, quite a very big day at the FMDQ Securities Exchange, roughly 300 billion naira in total fixed income government papers are traded. That's much smaller than about 900 billion that we saw on Wednesday. So it's a whole lot of portfolio adjustments. I will see the end of the second month in the third quarter. The BRVM continued that rally 0.64%, taking the composite higher to 253.51. The Egyptian stock market finishes final trading day in Cairo by about roughly 0.25%. In the Greek territory, the Nairobi stock market remained in the water by 0.1%. We got earnings this morning from Nairobi Securities Exchange, or the NSE PLC itself, reporting its numbers for the first half of 2024. Then you got the GSE. The biggest exchange on the continent, up by 0.26%. Zimbabwe was down on Thursday, however. So let's rest it there and see how the market finished today. Then we'll report back to you on Monday. But let's grab a couple of headlines across the continent. But let's start, as always, on the East Coast with Nairobi Securities Exchange numbers on the street. If you've seen the numbers, you got to look into the details, as it were. That's what the latest, the biggest earnings we got in East Africa for today, Friday, to wrap up the month of August. In the meantime, the KCB Group, as I shared, about 362 jobs because some staff are taking voluntary early exit. And Savannah Clinker has made a counter offer of about 70 shillings per share to buy Bamburi Cement of Kenya. That's Savannah Clinker business coming from Tanzania, by the way, next door. Fitch Ratings is warning that the outbreak of Mpox could dent regional economies in Eastern Central Africa. That's the latest as far as that disease is concerned. And you have Elon Musk Starlink Internet is now available in many countries around the world, about 100 plus countries, about 15 of them in Africa, including East Africa, by the way. So let's keep those headlines in mind. Let's get on to West Africa and the SEC, Nigeria's Securities and Exchange Commission, on Thursday announced that it has given initial approval in principle for 2 crypto exchanges to operate in the country. That's Busha and Quidax. 5 other crypto exchanges have been placed in the regulatory incubation of the SEC to test their model and technology, and that's according to the Securities Exchange. It is the first of such in Nigeria approval of a local crypto exchanges or digital asset managers, as it were, to operate here, and that's coming under the new Director General at the SEC, Emomotimi Agama. In the meantime, Ava Capital or Ava Global Asset Managers yesterday floated this 200 billion naira infrastructure bond, private sector infrastructure bond on the Nigerian exchange. And this first series was listed yesterday. Congratulations to them. Safaricom's unit trust in Mali are reporting 2.3 billion shillings in assets under management and is looking to secure license from the Malian authorities to operate as a fund manager. And finally, in West Africa, Ghana has released about 700 million cedis to customers of collapsed fund managers in the West African economy. Those are your headlines on the West Coast. Let's take it to Southern Africa. President Ramaphosa sat a day or so ago to discuss the business environment in South Africa, the Business Council Forum. In the meantime, U.S. consulting firm BCG has admitted that it paid millions of dollars in bribe to win businesses in Angola, one of Africa's richest oil and gas economy. And Implats was listed on a number of exchanges in Southern Africa, including South Africa itself, has posted loss for the second quarter of the year due to weak metal prices, which trigger asset write-downs. And Cambria Africa has announced plans to delist from London's alternative investment market. Cambria Africa has business operations in Southern Africa, Zimbabwe, to be specific. And Zambia inflation reported at 32 high for the month of August because drought is wreaking havoc on food prices in this commodity-based economy in Southern Africa. A very big dent there. In the meantime, the hope of no more rainfall for Zambia is being predicted as Zimbabweans next door are digging riverbeds in search of water. A very tough and nail-biting situation for millions of Africans there in Southern African region. Let's finish off in North Africa, by the way, and we'll look at it. A couple of headlines here. Egypt is looking to host the Black & Decker's first electrical equipment factory in the Middle East Africa region, while the country's agriculture minister is unveiling plans to boost seed industry and ensure food securities for North Africa's biggest economy. In the meantime, Libya's oil output has fallen more than half. That's about 900 million barrels per day, according to some estimates. About 700,000 barrels per day was shut down over the last few days. That increased to 900,000 as at this morning, Friday, and that could go up to 1 million barrels a day if the disruptions are not stopped. And that's according to industry sources. All on the back of a political standoff and the wranglings over who will be in charge of the country's central bank. And those are your headlines to start your weekend. We have a lot to grab for you when we return on Monday with Nigeria's president in South Africa and a few other African presidents also in China for the China-Africa Economic Summit. Let's touch on all of that when we return over the weekend. And that takes us straight to September. Happy new month, as it were. Let's get together from Monday. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll see you back here